Hello, my beautiful queer people. My name is Joy, and I run accounts called Poems by Joy. These are queer poetry accounts. This is my first YouTube video. And I just want to say welcome. If you like what you see and hear today, please give me a like and subscribe. The name of this video is Poems for Hard Times Queer Edition. This is my reading of poetry for hard times. It is about how to cope with hard times through queer poetry. So I really hope you will stick around to hear two poems that I've written for hard times, and stick around for some resources that I have gathered for how to cope with hard times as a queer person. I am also working on a manuscript of queer political thought and queer love, so follow along my journey. I will be releasing that sometime in the spring, I believe. So if you're wanting a copy of that, please just stick around. I'll be probably distributing that for free in queer spaces, so stick around and look for that. So why would I have a collection of poems for hard times? Like, why would I even start with this? Well, we just got out of Pride season, and I have to admit that it was pretty tough for me. I went to several Pride events. I even went to queer dating events, and I left feeling pretty lonely. I really thought that this was the time that I was going to meet someone. I was going to meet my person at these events. You know, this was one of my first Pride seasons being fully out. Now, I've come out probably several times actually throughout my lifetime to my friends and families, but never have been fully queer, never have been fully stretched my queer bones out to be fully out to my friends and family. But this year I felt like I have been. I've tried on for size being fully queer in June every year, but this time I thought I was going to be outrageously gay. I was going to be fully myself, fully authentic this year. So this is my first Pride season being fully authentic. So it was a little disappointing when I went to these Pride events and didn't meet my person. So the loneliness felt compounded. It felt very, very lonely. So I started writing these poems for these hard times, and my mental health really did struggle. And so this is why I have these poems for hard times. So I want you to stick around, especially if you're feeling like you're struggling too with mental health, because I will definitely have resources at the end of this video. The first poem I have is called The Timing and the Reason. I want to add a trigger warning to this poem. It is concerning some depressing topics. I do have borderline personality disorder. If this is a topic that is distressing to you, you don't want to hear about it, go ahead and skip this poem. It can be a little distressing. If that makes you sad, don't listen to that one. The Timing and the Reason. My nurse questioned me curiously yesterday when I recounted July. I had stood like a broken arrow in the drugstore, looking for a way to definitively treat my mortal wound. And he had inquired as to the timing and the reason why that afternoon, out of so many, in a season marked with intense loneliness, and a lifetime of struggling with identity, I had chosen to march into Walgreens and declare drugs as the cure. My wise nurse, please write the following down in my chart next to my name and birth date. In all my queerness and in all my pain, in all my shaky vocalizations and coming out, in all my attempts at being the girl who could be desired, needed, and maybe just seen. In all the passive-aggressive times I couldn't spurt the right words out of my diaphragm to ask my mother for the right kind of help that would prop me up so that I could see the sun set over the roof of my home and look out above with a sense of hope and happiness. Know this, my nurse, that was the reason and that was the time to ask for those kinds of cures. This poem came from a place where I stood in the aisles of Walgreens looking at rows and rows of drugs, thinking, could this be it? And it comes from an intense borderline feelings of just chronic emptiness and feeling so bad, and feeling like I just was not going to find my people, my group, my partner. And I just tell you, if you have a mental health emergency like that, reach out for help. My second poem that I'm going to read as a poem for Hard Time Queer Edition is called My Baseline is Loneliness. My baseline is loneliness. I was simply grown to be humbly by my lonesome. Lying quietly on my side, head propped up, my satin-lined pillow by myself. Sparse tears that roll over my nose and drip to my lips, wetting the sheets just enough to remind me that moisture can grow mold in the brain if you aren't careful. So I turn my back on my thoughts and flip to my other side so I can say I tried to be the girl who gave love when she felt it welling up underneath her breath. Yes, she once was the type, but her tears halted this. And I cannot stomach the agonizing stench of weakness that lingers in the air when I mention that I could become her again, instead of resting on my bed at baseline. So here I am, obedient and tight-lipped, dry and safe, cute and dull, but well. I feel like I've been on so many different medications and they all give me highs, they give me lows, but at the end of the day, my baseline is just here. It's just loneliness. I meet friends, sometimes I keep them, many times I don't. I've dated and I lose them. But somehow I find myself lonely again, and my baseline is loneliness. And that's why I have this series of Poems for Hard Times Queer Edition, right? So tell me, are you writing poetry too? Are you writing poems for hard times? Where are you sharing them at? Drop below in the comments. Are you sharing your poems somewhere? Tell me about it. Now I'd like to go over some of the resources that I have for when you're struggling with loneliness. We know in this current political climate, resources specifically for queer folk, they're putting barriers to access. We know that we had a specific hotline number that was tailored for our specific needs, and we do have specific needs, and we know that was curtailed. But there is still ways that you can get care, and there are still ways that you can get help. If you are having a mental health emergency or crisis, don't hesitate. Text or call 988, right? Don't think that your problems aren't hard enough. Don't think they're not strong enough. Don't think they're not severe enough. Get help, right? If you have a support team, call them. Please reach out. If you're feeling lonely, there are always things that you can do. You may not have the support network that you desire, right? I certainly haven't always had that, but there are still things that you can do. If you have access to therapy, that is my number one thing that I would suggest. I'm a big proponent of therapy. I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy my whole life. My mother's a therapist. We have always talked about mental health therapy as being a resource. So if you have access to therapy, you have insurance, or you have a program that you can get therapy at, please get into therapy and talk to someone about your loneliness. Journaling is a good way to talk about or to process feelings about loneliness, right? Get a journal. You can go on Etsy and get a journal about mental health. I've bought one. It's very helpful. I would say coping strategies such as writing poems, making art, playing an instrument. I play ukulele and write songs. You can check me out on Spotify. Scrolling social media of like-minded people, engaging in any artistic pursuit. That's a great way to process loneliness and these feelings. Exercising if you can, or going for a walk, just changing your scenery and getting out of the house. These are different ways that you can feel better. And also prayer or meditation, just getting in the right headspace can be so very helpful when feeling lonely and out of sorts. My God, and whatever you believe, has your back. The universe has your back. sometimes when I'm thinking about, you know what, I feel so lonely and so desolate. Like, is that a word? I remember I went to my local, another local Pride festival here in Indiana, and I was all alone. I went alone, I left alone. But when I was there, I remember thinking, you know, I'm not alone, because every entity in the universe has my back. The stars have my back, the atoms have my back, the molecules have my back. And I just had this overwhelming feeling in my heart at that time. The universe has my back. I'm not alone. Even the ancestors that came before me that are rooting for me to succeed in this world have my back. I can never be alone if the universe has my back, right? So that's all I've got for now. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like and subscribe. I will continue making queer poetry content for you guys. If you really enjoy this, please just let me know. My beautiful queer friends, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.